Hey everybody, today we are going to do a teardown and clean of the Piscifun Alijoz 300 reel. So here's the box. It's all exciting and all this kind of stuff. So it tells you it's got 9 bearings, gear ratio of 8.1 to 1. I think they come in different ratios. I got the 8.1 to 1 intentionally. 32 or 36.2 inches of line retrieved per turn. Max drag of 33 pounds. Says the weight is 11.3 ounces. For mono, you can hold 190 yards of 15 pound, and for braid, 205 yards of 40 pound. The box is fairly nice, actually. So you've got some rigid foam here that holds the reel. You've got a thin piece down here at the bottom. You've got the part that actually holds the body of the reel. It goes in there something like, I don't know, if I can get it in there. I can quit turning. So like so. And then this one goes on top. It does come with a little instruction manual. Mind you, the entire instruction part in English is this one page here. And then you've got a schematic on the back. I guess I should turn it right so that doesn't matter. You're not reading it anyway. There you go. So, I have used this reel. I'm happy with it. Now, I can't tell you where this particular tool came from. It may have come with this reel, it may not have, but it fits, and that's the important part. Most of your bait casters are going to come with one of those. We have, these are for the long cleaning tips. I have some of these so that I can use the non-padded end. And then, of course, I've got some regular, what do we call them? I'll just call them Q-tips. I forget the exact name of what they are, but here you go. Some reel oil. I think this is from an Ozark Trail kit. And then some pin grease. In general, on reels, you are going to grease gears and lube or oil the bearings. Okay. So getting started here. First thing we're going to do is we'll take off this retaining screw. So this screw right here holds this retaining piece that keeps this nut right here from spinning, which basically keeps you from losing your handle while you're trying to reel in fish or whatever. Not that they should come off while you're reeling fish, but anyway, it's a lock there that helps keep the handle on, or keeps the nut secured, which keeps the handle on. So you've got this little nut here, basically just finger tight on there. You don't want to torque these things down. There's no point because you've got that retaining piece. And then off comes the handle. Nice, thick, I assume it's aluminum handle. Nice EVA foam grip on here. It's very firm foam. It's not, I mean, it doesn't give under pressure. Swivels that around really easily. It's just a nice little power handle. Okay, next we're going to come to this concave bent washer. I don't know what you want to call it. I forget. It's so basically it's a bent washer. I should say. So you got it's indexed so it only fits on the little square shaft there, but you have these two ears that point down. So they point down against the star drag. So we'll just go ahead and unscrew the star drag. As you can hear, it clicks, and we'll see why that is in just a second. It's always a nice feature to have. It feels like it just kind of holds a little more securely, in my opinion. So we spin that all the way off. On the underside, if we can see in here, so you've got these little grooves, kind of like the reverse of a gear. And that is because this piece, which the hollow side is up, okay, and you get this little springy guy on the side, that fits in there, and that's what makes the clicking noise. So there we have that. Put those over there together, and then we're going to have a series of 3 washers. The top of these 3 washers, as we're looking down at the reel, is going to be just a basic flat washer. It's a thin flat washer. It's probably more of a spacer than anything. So that's the top one there. And then these two are both bent. So I'll show you. So they're the same way. So you can see they're bent so that the inside is higher than the outside, or vice versa. They go back to back or front to front, whatever, so that the edges on the outside touch and the inner edges do not. So they are reversed from each other. So it's kind of like a little springy type situation there. So you got those two, one on top of the other, and on top of those is, again, that flat washer that we talked about. Okay? So that gets us down to sort of bare metal on this side. Then we take off the spool tension knob. And there's really nothing under there to fall out. So we're going to head over here and we're going to take out this, not take out, but loosen this thumb screw here. It may be just a hair tight. You may need to slap this into the tool end so that you can loosen it, but it's not in there tight. And you just do that. It's retained in there with a little spring, so it's not like it's going to fall out. So to take off the left side plate, easier said than done sometimes. You twist. So twist down, and then eventually it comes off. So there's your magnetic brake and everything. I'm not going to get into the inside there because I know my limitations. And then we just pull the spool out. And the reason the spool is not wanting to come out is because I've got some fairly thick mono right here that I've used as a leader using an FG knot. Tied to my braid. So the tolerance is so tight that mono is not going to fit through there. So just give me a second here. And basically what I need to do is get it all pulled out or unwound. Right now it's wound around the spool shaft. Okay, here we go. So we're going to drop him back in. Easier said than done. Let's get one more piece of this off of here. Okay. Okay, so we're back to the spool level. We'll just run this around several times to take up all of this mono leader. And there's no purpose in this other than so that we can get the spool out of the reel. Of course, if it had no line on it, this would not be an issue. Then I do have a rather long mono leader on this, shock leader, because the goal is to use this in salt water. And I think this is probably, I think this is probably 60 pound. Actually, I know it's 60 pound. Just in case you're wondering, how thick of a line it was that couldn't get through that little gap there. It's usually easier if you just, put some tape around the spool when you do this before you even start this process. There we go. So there's our spool. And once you get the spool out, you got a screw here and here that we need to take off so we can get the other side plate off. Hoping they were magnetic, they're not. Okay. So as we have our line guide facing forward, right? You got that screw in the front of the reel. So this screw is in the back. They are not the same size. So we'll put the back screw towards the back over here. front screw up there. We got one more screw right here. Now this screw and the other, so the screw on the outside and the screw on the inside front are the same size. Okay? There we go. Now, while we hold this down, we're going to very gently finagle this little guy off. So there we go. Okay. Now, things I'll point out. You have a spring here and a spring right here. Okay? So what I'm going to do right now, so this is apparent, okay, that's what that is. So this discoloration here is not really discoloration. As you can see, it's actually the color of the plastic. The plastic? It feels like plastic, but doesn't sound necessarily like plastic. Okay, anyway. So that is where they painted it. The coating didn't get onto everything. As you can see, you can get some tan stuff here, gold or whatever. So there you go. I don't remember if the other side, what color the other side of this is. It may be that color. I don't know. So what we're going to do here is just kind of use our Q-tip to clean in there. We're going to clean in here. I'm going to pull this guy back up and be thankful that the springs didn't go everywhere. We'll just move him right over there. Stay. Be good boy. Okay. And then as you push down, then this bearing comes out, and that is the main shaft bearing. And then behind that is the roller bearing, right? Okay. So I won't lube that yet. Then I'll go ahead and I'll just kind of clean off this other bearing here. This one's held in with a little spring clip. And of course you can take that apart and all that fun stuff. At this point, the reel has not seen enough use to warrant tearing down that far. And then inside the spring tension knob cap, or spring tension knob, I guess would be a better way to put it. So there is I don't know how easy this comes out. We'll see. Not easy enough. So there's a piece of plastic in here that's got some little nubs on it, and that is, you heard the clicking as I took it off. That's what that's from. Okay. So our gear assembly. This is on the main shaft itself, right? Let's take this off, take a good look. So you've got this, not shim, what am I trying to say? Bushing. You got this bushing. Underneath the bushing, we have a flat washer, which is not the same flat washer as we had at the other end of the main shaft as we took off the Star Drag and such. Then we have a convex washer, and that's going to be with the outside pointing downward. And then this is going to be our drag washers and such. So we got, feels like carbon fiber drag washer there. Have this indexed washer. Another carbon fiber drag washer. Another one of these. This feels like a flat washer. And then you've got that last carbon fiber drag washer. So we'll put this back together. That carbon fiber, the indexed carbon fiber. And then this one, if you can see, so the raised part, the raised center goes up as we're looking down from it to this side. Then we've got so that takes care of this one side. Got another drag washer here. And then this washer. You know what? Let me start looking at names of things. That'll be a little more fun, won't it? La 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 la. There's your drive gear. 116, that's a drag. Okay, so this is a drag washer. And 117 is the key washer. Anyway, so we've got the keyed washer. At this point, you can see the parts that are greased. All of our gears here. So these are plastic gears. I'm surprised. Very surprised, actually. Especially with 33 pounds of drag. But hey, it is what it is. Okay. The plastic's probably not the right word. It's probably, nylon or so just take some grease, re-grease. Normally, yeah, you should take off the old grease first, but it doesn't really matter. Like I said, this reel's not seen enough use. I was more interested in doing a teardown to show you what's inside of these, because if we're going to be buying these things, we want to know what we're getting, right? Okay, so we'll put in our little keyed washer again. Get it indexed on there right, so that there we go. Our inner drag washer. And then this whole stack that we took off, which has okay. Let me go back here. So I said we have plastic washers. We do, or plastic gears. We do, but there's not. That's not your main. So this washer, or try again. The plastic gears here, those run the line guide. Okay, I don't know why I overlooked that in the first place. Okay, so back we go to our little key washer here. Get him in the right spot. Pull my drag wash up so I can see what's going on under there. All right. Okay, there we go. So he comes across like this. And then this little piece stays over here. What I'm going to do is push the thumb bar. And lo and behold, nothing went flying. That's very good. Okay. Get this dry, get that washer back down into place. inner drag washer on. And go back and put our stack on that has all of our drag washers and everything in it. Okay, these are, as you can easily see, they appear to be brass gears. So we'll just put some grease on these and there we go. Okay. Then comes this flat washer. Then comes our bushing. Okay. Get our other spring back in its home there. And we are set. So there we go. By the way, if it can be over-greased, I'll over-grease it. All right. There's that. Now we come back with our side plate and get it oriented correctly here. And this screw goes through this hole here, like so. Nope. I did not oil up the bearing. So break out the oil. So this is your roller bearing here. And this is your spool tension bearing. And then this is your main shaft bearing. Okay. Get that back in place. And this cannot be tightened down now because, of course, it is what secures the other side plate. But we'll grab this screw. There you go. Snug it up. And we'll take this one. So if you get confused on which one goes where, the longest of the three screws, because the other two are the same. So the short one goes here where you can get to it without taking the spool out. The long one goes in here, which you do have to take the spool out to get. Just in case you run into that issue. Now these are the combination flat or Phillips, but I do like to finish them off with the flathead if I'm not, because these screws are just generally not in any reel. They're easily boogered up. Boogered up is in fact the technical term. Thank you for asking. There, okay. So we got that in there. Just make sure this one's snugged up good. It is. And the outside one also snugged up good. Okay. So now we can rewrap our mono mess. Around the spool. Again, a smarter person would just go ahead and put tape around that, hold it in place. So we've got our spool bearing here. Let's go ahead and get that drop 2 oil, spin it around, and just put a little bit of oil on the shaft on both sides, just for good measure. And the long end of the spool goes in first, or goes inside. Do that, and we've almost got all our mono in there. Let's tighten it up, and come on, you can do this. You can do it. There we go. All right. Now that we got that in there, let's... No, it's not all the way in there. Oh, piece of junk. Okay. There we go. Last bit of mono through there. Come on. It's been fighting me this whole time. It doesn't want to be a good little piece of mono. Okay. So the fix for that, push the spool out a little bit, grab it with our pliers. Now, the end. I win. Okay, so we've got that done. We have our other side plate here. Drop 2 oil on that. And we slap that back in here and get it settled down, and then we twist it into place. And then we can go ahead and tighten this screw up. Where's my little tool? There's my little tool. The popping you hear is just getting the spool seated back where it needs to be and getting the side plate on as it needs to be. Okay. Nothing really exciting here. This is just the cover for the spool tension knob. Or it is the spool tension knob, I should say. I want to get a little bit of grease down on that little plastic part that we talked about. And then we just screw it on. Now there is a little O-ring here that you don't need to take off, which just helps, you know, seal out dirt and water and grime and anything else. So we just twist that on. We'll get our parts diagram out of the way here. Okay. Now we're back to putting stuff on here on the outside. So again, we've got the convex washer. This one goes so that the raised portion is down. The raised center is down. Then the raised center goes up on this one. And then we've got that little flat washer we talked about. Then we put on this guy. And that's the part that makes the clicker go clicky clicky when we twist the drag knob. All right. So you want to make sure you get this thing lined up. A good way to get things lined up is actually to just screw it backwards a little bit. And then you can kind of feel it set. But there we go. Do not force this on. Don't cross thread it. So we're holding the spool so that it doesn't spin. Well, and that doesn't do it good. We need to hold the shaft, the main gear. So there we go. Got that set. We talked about this washer again. That's the bent washer. So you have the center, and then these sides are, so your center's flat like this, and then each side, one side's this way, and then this side's this way. So it's bent, those little ears are bent down. So the little ears, the bent down part goes in like that. And then we put on our beautiful power handle. Then we put on our handle retaining nut. Again, make sure you don't cross thread it. should just easily screw on by fingertip or by finger pressure. Okay. So, because my fingers are a little greasy, I'm just, yeah, so they're, I mean, it's just barely snug. And then we take this little guy. That's the retainer. It feels like it has a little bit of a bend to it. So I'm putting the bend downward. And you just index this so that you get it as close to the nut or to the screw hole as you can. So that one was between spots on the screw hole, right? So I'm actually going to just tighten this up a little bit to get this hole to line up with the screw hole underneath there. We'll put in that. Come on. There we go. Get the screw, put it in there. Find the hole there. And take our little screwdriver bit. I'll put it back in. Well, actually, again, it's one of those combos, so I can just tighten down a little bit there. And we are good to go. So the noise you hear, that's just the mono doing its thing as it wraps around. Okay, so as you can see, the drag is extremely loose. Okay, that's it. And again, the noise you hear is literally the mono just slapping as it comes through. So feed the mono back through the line guide. I do have, like I said, there's a lot of it on here, probably 20 feet of shock leader. And that adds some forgiveness that the braid doesn't give you. So you can get a little stretch if you need it, that kind of thing. Okay, so close it up. There we go. And that's it, folks. We've got it taken apart as far as we need to do the lubrication. Took a look at the internal parts a little bit, see what we had going on there. And that is the Alijoz, A-L-I-J-O-Z, from Piscifun. That's P-I-S-C-I-F-U-N. Alijoz 300. Thanks for watching. The reel, I believe on Piscifun's site, I think it says $149, maybe $129 is a normal price. It usually goes on sale for between $80 and $90. So there you go. Thanks for watching, everybody. Until next time. Appreciate you joining. Like, subscribe, and all that fun stuff.